Before we get into today's episode, don't forget to sign up to the book and the VIP newsletter at thehighestandbestuse.com. For the book, you can get that at Amazon, Chapters, Barnes & Noble, all of these places in paperback, ebook, hardcover, and of course now the Audible version as well. So grab the book, sign up to the VIP newsletter, thehighestandbestuse.com, and now to today's episode.
Is taking a real estate agent from hustler to business owner and really connecting them to the life that they want to live.
Thanks for tuning into the Highest and Best Use Real Estate Podcast, where we talk techniques to optimize your land, structure, skill sets, and time, as well as highest and best use principles to make your business more profitable, productive, and efficient. I'm your host, Ryan Carr, reminding you that good deals are found, great deals are created. And my guest today, super pumped for this, Ben Oosterveld. Ben has been building multi-million-dollar sales teams in Alberta. He's a licensed realtor out there. He's owned 61 properties in 4 cities with other investors, and he's also the author of a book, The Richest Real Estate Agent. So, my man.
How's it going, man?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for making the trip.
You got a nice setup here, let me tell you.
Thank you.
Nice.
BC to Ontario.
Yeah, that's right. Moved from Alberta a couple
Yeah.
years ago, living on the North Shore, Vancouver. Yeah,
I love it.
But yeah,
Tofino? Is that
flew here just for this podcast? So
you're the man. So we're going to talk about perspectives today. You're very good
Love it.
At perspectives and looking within. So we're going to talk about perspectives of real estate, business, and personal as well.
love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Let's kick it off. Who is Ben?
I got a family. I got 7 in my family, 5 kids.
Really? 5 kids?
5 kids. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oldest is how old now? 19.
Yeah.
Youngest is 10. Who is Ben? Coach, real estate coach real estate agents, help them turn their hustle into an actual business with systems and
like that.
with the goal of building a life you love versus just GCI. And before we were talking about once you have enough money, and it doesn't take much to get to the place where it doesn't buy happiness.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we just keep going after the money and we just banging our head against the wall thinking it's going to make you happy.
I know.
So we change the goal to building a life.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
That's important. So I've got a quote from you that I want to start with. What if your goal isn't optimizing for money, but it's to build a life that you love? So as you mentioned, what does that mean?
You know what? I've messed up so much, man. Like marriage almost falls apart, chased money, made self-sabotage by changing deals when I shouldn't change deals, you know, and so many different things we do, gone through so many troubles in my life. We lived on the street and all kinds of stuff.
You lived on the street?
Lived on the street, slept outside, park benches. Yeah.
Look at how far you've come.
Yeah, come a ways. Come a ways. I spent 365 days in rehab when I was 17 to 18 years old. Yeah. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Spent 300.
Shed some light. How did you go from rehab to, okay, here's, this completely transformed life?
Totally. I got absolutely, well, like the day I decided to go to rehab, I was going to like kill myself. It was just like just a brutal childhood.
Wow. Lived
on the streets, had a rough go at it.
Yep.
And didn't see any purpose, but there was a little light in me that said, I want to live still. So I tried rehab and then I started building my life. But what I found was looking within my life, I had answers. And years and years of looking within my life, I found what matters. You know, I'm still always ask myself who I am and what do I want.
Yeah.
So, but
does that ever go away? That probably never goes away.
What's that?
Who am I? What am I? What matters? Because does that evolve over time? It must.
I think it's really simple. So here's what happened. I got obsessed about fixing myself. Okay. Obsessed. Like I was angry. I was, I didn't like who I was, confidence low, like narcissistic, manipulative. Like you go through this thing from being a street kid, you're a survivor. So you take those survival skills, they don't work in relationships, so you have to kind of figure it out over many years of trouble. And what I realized, if I had to sum it all up, is that there's a couple major lessons. Is that I feel like trying to fix myself, I did fix myself, worked through all kinds of stuff, psychology, backstory, childhood. And I kept on working through it and found this amazing freedom and abundance and even wealth and all this cool stuff from working on myself. I fixed, but it wasn't like personal growth. It was, I'm going to fix me. And so what happened was just saying I didn't like myself and I'm broken.
I was going to say, does that mean you're broken? Yeah,
it does. And so one day hits me like a ton of bricks one day. And I think this is when I became enlightened. How about this? Is I realized I'll never fix myself. And I realized, oh, this is the moment. And so that's when I was like, oh, I'm finished.
Yeah.
And I feel like at this place where I'm like, oh, I've already won the game. I've got so many things. I just realized I don't need to fix myself. What we really need is self-acceptance. So, yeah, I've got some trouble. Yeah.
How old were you when you realized?
I don't know. It's taken a long years.
Yeah.
I honestly think in the last 10 years, I figured that out. Last 5-10 years to be able to realize I'm like, oh, every time I try to fix myself, I go deeper and find more shit. Yeah. And that's when I went, oh, you can't fix yourself. And it was like freedom. And I went, oh, I have to accept myself. See, this whole David Goggins, full respect, okay? Yeah. But this idea of mastery is bullshit. Mastery.
Let's break into that. What does that mean?
Like 8-pack. Let's get a fucking 8-pack. Right?
Guy's jacked, right?
It's like just get jacked. Like, what's wrong with not though?
Yeah.
Like it's like oh yeah, like mastery, like number one. It's like we have an obsession with like, don't just be a blue belt, be a fucking triple black belt, or else what? You're nothing. Like it's just this weird obsession with mastery. We put these guys on pedestals that are mastered whatever game. Sure, it's cool when you see a master. Like when you see a master, what a cool thing. But that's not the standard. The standard is, who are you? Be you.
Sure.
Be you. It's like, so I just realized that in a weird way, I had been running. If you look at hockey, I'm a big hockey fan. And if you look at it this way, you have two ways to play the game. I used to play the game as if I was in overtime. And if you remember, so what would it be? 2021, the Edmonton Oilers went really far in the playoffs. Edmonton Oilers has a guy named Draisaitl. Draisaitl had a high ankle sprain. And he literally was falling down and crawling off this. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
So he was in the playoffs, okay?
Yeah.
And he had a broken leg.
Yeah.
And he's crawling from the his shift to the bench. But he'd keep coming back out, and he got like tons of points. He's amazing.
Yeah.
While he was injured, and it reminded me, I'm like, that's how I used to live, as if it was overtime.
Yeah.
And in overtime, in any sport, I don't care if you're injured, you get the frick out there and you play the game. You know why? One slip, you lose.
Yeah.
So I lived my life where 1 second of non-progress, 1 second of not moving forward was losing. And so now today, when I remember coming home in my book, I start my book like this, and it says, here, I'll just read the first line.
You know what? Just bring it out. Read it.
The very first line in the introduction kind of talks to it. It says, it's on page 1. It wasn't until my wife told me she wanted to leave me that I finally stopped chasing and started living. Ooh. So I came home one day, big house, cars, big team. I mean, real estate, not big team at the time, but I had a real estate team, lots of real estate. I was coaching, date nights. My Instagram looked good, and like family man. And I came home and Renee's like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I'm like, holy shit. And then I thought I was a provider. I did all these things for my family, right? As a man, we think that they want providing. And the reality is that's not all what they want. They actually don't. My wife, I said, Renee, I've got all this stuff. We've done this, we date nights and all this. And she's like, I don't need any of that. I'm like, what do you want then? She was like, I just want you.
Time, yeah.
I want you. And it's not just time, it's connection. I can sit with her for 10 hours. Didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's that moment of, fuck, I love this guy. She didn't get that.
Yeah.
And so that's when I realized, as I laid on the floor and cried, I'm like, I fucked up. Because I realized I had already won the game. And I was playing as if it was overtime. And so I realized I had my 5 kids. I remember leaving rehab at 18 thinking, if I could just have my kids run to the door and be married to a woman that loves me, I think that would be an amazing life, in contrast to my street life.
Sure.
I'm like, that'd be the best life you could ever imagine.
So did you just keep moving the goalpost?
Yeah, I just kept pushing.
Because, I mean, street life to standard Canadian.
I wanted to buy the Edmonton Oilers. I had 61 properties, and all it felt was nothing.
Yeah.
It's just nothing. Nothing ever felt good. 1,000 was my number. That's what I put it to.
And why 1,000?
Just because I was massively inadequate and I couldn't feel myself from within. So I figured if the bigger goal would make me feel happy, and it would fill the gap, and it didn't.
Right.
It's like a monster that just kept eating it. Never, ever satisfied.
Really? Where do you think that originates from?
Oh, dude, it just never being loved as a kid. It goes to childhood, no questions asked, man. In a society that doesn't have a community where you feel loved and understood. Nobody does. Nobody does. How many people do you get, Ryan? How many people get you, Ryan? In your life, I'm talking like the good Ryan, the bad Ryan, like all versions. How many people get you?
Get me from what perspective, though?
They know Ryan all in. They know, like you could say,
yep,
he or she gets me on all levels.
I'm pretty down the middle with everything. I don't go really high. I don't go really low. I'm pretty right down the middle. So whether it's business or in life, I try to keep everything fairly consistent. So I think the people that I do interact with, more than just a service, hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
I think they would get me, but to go like deep, I mean, it's only your inner core circle that really gets to see that.
So I've asked that question on stage so many times, and the average is two. Two people get me.
Yeah. Like so a parent and a spouse or
that's
something.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's think about this. How many people do we know?
Yeah.
Do you know why? Our
two.
society's closed.
How?
Because if I tell you who I am, I'm not going to fit into whatever standard or whatever image I'm trying to build. Like if I show you that I've got some problems and you know what's beautiful when I run retreats or I coach, I share my shit, man. And they're like, oh, you share your shit and you're successful? Fucking A. Yeah, I got some problems. Yeah, so do you.
Why do you think people close off like this?
Just I truly believe that it's basics. If you get your finger, if someone hits you with a hammer on your hand, you're gonna be scared of the hammer.
Sure. And
so the problem is moving from that moment to try to say, well, no, hammers aren't the problem. It was one time thing. We create these traumas, right? And so I think that we just have to understand that our brain is trying to keep us safe. This is not something like even that deep. It's like if you slip on the ice once, every single time ice shows up, your brain is going to be like, careful, but the brain is helping us.
Right.
It's not hurting us.
It's a protector.
Not, oh, I'm so fearful. No.
Yeah.
It's just doing its freaking job. It's doing its job. Yeah. You just have to understand that's not you. That's your operating system saying careful because you're going to slip. But when you walk down the street and you see a gang on the right-hand side and your brain says, hey, dude, you should go across the street, you're thankful for that fear. And so we have to understand it's called emotional intelligence.
Right. Understand
how we work. And then we hate ourselves for being fearful and hate ourselves. No. This is what's happening. The problem is you have to educate your brain with new data. So you got to go do a step of faith moment where you're like, holy shit, like jumping off a bridge with a bungee cord. When you jump off the bridge with a bungee cord, your brain's telling you you're screwed, but you know in your heart that you're trusting that bungee cord. Then next time you're like, I'll do the 10 times.
Yeah.
Like my wife and I went water sliding a few days ago, and there was this, we call it the toilet bowl. You kind of go around and around and it poops you out. Yep. And so my wife's like, I'm not doing that. And then she did it because her daughter's like, what do you mean, Mom?
Don't be a baby.
She did it once, terrified, did it. And then she goes, I love it.
Right.
So that's the step of faith because the brain says, for some reason, that looks like a threat.
And do you think this transposes to business as well? This isn't just about personal.
It's everything. Personal is the filter to business.
Really?
Everything goes through personal. There's no such thing as personal business.
So
business is an arm of business is an arm of who you are.
If you could do this in layers, like you say filter, which is kind of like, as soon as you said that, something popped in my brain. It was like, okay, filters. So you got personal, you got business, you've got what else? Like what other filters are there in there?
I just think it's my filter. I think if I'm going to see you through my experiences and through my belief systems. Yeah. I'm going to see business. What I'm fascinated with is how we make decisions. Fascinating. 'Cause I made lots of bad ones and I make really good ones now. You know what I mean? And why do we make bad decisions? Why do we decide on something? That scares the shit out of me if I'm trying to prove to my father I'm not going to get the life I want. If I'm going to prove to Ryan, like even a decision of what to say on this podcast, if I'm doing it for you, I'm not going to be me.
Right.
And so I think this is the conversation. That's fascinating, is how do we make decisions?
So you make decisions based on what internally?
I base it on, is this mine? So like even I go a little deeper than that. I say, like I'll give you an example. We need to challenge our belief systems. This goes to business, investing, real estate. Right now, this is a good one because watch this. We were born.
I love your passion. I love it.
I'm at half speed right now.
I'm half speed.
Trust me. This is
hard back. Carry away.
So here's the thing.
No.
In Canada, what beliefs have we adopted? Okay, Christian nation. Okay, potentially North America, Christian nations, there's adoption there. How about ownership of a home? Is that our belief or is that something that we've just adopted?
True.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying let's look at what you believe and say, is it mine?
Yeah.
If you're believing someone else, like imagine growing up in a family of lawyers and they're like, we be lawyers. I'm going to be a lawyer. Is that what you believe? Of course. And they've pitched it to you for 10 generations maybe. Is that really what you want? Like, it's just one of those things where, are you going to live your life for you? Like, are you going to live the life that I believe you're destined for something? I think about people like that jump on a violin or a piano and they can just play.
Yeah.
Like they have to play. Like there's something built in.
Yeah.
What's your thing? And so I feel like we just have to ask ourselves, what do we believe? And if is it mine? And that's where decisions start.
That's a good point. That's a good point. How do you pick a direction? So for you, intuitively, like you grew up, you had, rough upbringing, then you got better, you worked on yourself, this kind of thing. How do you pick a direction? How did you pick a direction on, okay, this is how I'm going to live my life and this is where I'm going to go next?
I started with money.
Yeah.
How much more money can I make? I'll make as much money as I possibly can. Real estate sounds good to me.
So you started with money.
So money.
I'm so happy you said that.
I felt like security. I felt like, I don't know. I felt like money's going to be the answer to everything.
Right.
So I went for it.
Do you ever think that people start off with money as the goal, which is fine?
Yeah.
They start off with money as the goal and then they look back after they've made it and they go, well, money isn't everything, but that's because they've already made it.
No.
You don't think that?
So. I get it. Sure. Yes. The answer is yes and no. It's always yes and no.
I guess.
Sure. I think, I don't know, man. I think everyone has their own story and their own context of everything. So yes and no. So yeah, like you're better because you have money or else.
Not better.
It's
I just
mean
like
the rich people saying, yeah, live your passion.
Kinda,
That's what and I hate that too because I really check in on that too. Because I think about the empathetic thing of every word I say. If you're popular, if your people are listening to you, it's like you got to look at their context, not mine.
Right.
Even as I coach people, I can't coach you to be me. If you are, you'll fail. Because I'm like, you know what I did? Probably something you're not willing to do. So I got to meet you on your terms and build a business that you'll actually do.
How do you tell people to pick their direction?
Test, drive, break, fixed.
Okay. Elaborate.
It's going to be my book title for another business book.
Continue.
Test it.
Yeah.
Try it. So try, test, break, fixed.
Okay.
Try it. Test it. Break it. Fix it. Dude, think about a plumber. Okay.
Yeah.
Think about a plumber. You got a leaky pipe, okay? What happens? You call a plumber, right? He comes in. He's like, "Yep, all fixed." Test it. Try it. If it leaks, we're going to find out where to fix it.
Yep.
The problem is people don't want to fail.
Business
They don't
and
do
life?
that. You got to break it.
Is that business and in life both?
Oh yeah, because guess what? When you're fat and you got diabetes, you're going to break and you're going to fix it. Because when you feel that, you will change.
True.
So you test, try. I love test, try, break, fix, and it's the adoption of failure. Because it's not failure. It's stupid. Like it's this whole idea of failure is really stupid. Like we're taught to be perfect. It's so stupid. It's not even real. It's like this weird hypnotic belief system of perfection. It's not real. Unless you're a space scientist or you're a fucking brain surgeon. Perfection's important.
Yeah.
But failure's costly. But you know what? If you're building a business or if you're in a relationship, you fail. But if you can just embrace that process and really analyze where it broke, oh man, that's speed. That's speed. That's why I can execute fast because I don't care. You might not like me, but eventually it'll get me eventually. Or if you don't, you're not my people.
How do you define what you want?
How do I define what I want? I think what you want, I think it's defined by the same way for everybody. Is to be loved. At the core essence of everything. So there's the one that's the deepest you can go is you want to feel loved and you want to be loved. Like at the end of the day, that's going to be the motivation for everything. Okay. Then it's once you've got that core, that's obviously love who you are, love who you're with, love what you do, and love where you live. That's the model I have.
Okay.
But the thing is though, then I think what makes me happy or what makes me jazzed, what's fun, these are secondary. So go-karting, love it. Like I like racing, I like fishing.
Yeah.
Playing men's league hockey, love it. My electric unicycle that I ride, love it. So what we want to do...
You strike me as a unicycle rider, no doubt. I'm like, that's the guy.
It's like 70 kilometers an hour, just flying.
There's one that goes around here and he juggles and he rides a unicycle all the time.
That juggling? Just randomly juggling?
Riding a unicycle.
That's weird.
Good for him.
Mine's way cooler than that.
Continue.
But I think what we want to do is this. First of all, love where you live, love what you do, love who you are, love who you're with. That's the fundamentals of what we want, guaranteed. The next one is to then stack all the other stuff that you want to do. Like say running a podcast, that's amazing. It's fun. If you don't like it, then don't do it.
Right.
And so I feel like we do what we should versus designing a life where we start stacking shit into our life that you wake up and I'd say 80% of your life needs to be something that energizes you. The other 20% is like mowing your lawn or digging the weeds, but then that's where money comes in because you pay someone to do it.
What do you think is actually more important in that equation? Do you think it's Is it money? Is it love? Is it fun? Like where does this all trickle out?
It's love. Like there's no question. Like it's not even a question. Like think about it. You died lonely, great. Mm-hmm. You know, imagine not feeling loved. Mm. Like if you hate yourself, how about that?
Yeah.
You tell me how your real estate investments would look when you hate yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's just your filter is just so screwed up. How about you hate where you live? Okay. That you don't love where you live. How good's your life? Mm-hmm. You don't love who you're with. How good's your life? You don't love what you do. How good's your life? That's it. Those 4 areas you need to love.
Yeah.
Like love what you do.
So let's talk about scaling in terms of business. So
sure.
There's a lot of people that grow just for the sake of growth. They don't know why they're growing, but they're just doing it, right? They're just told we're supposed to have bigger, faster, better looking.
It's fun.
It's got to be more. Yeah. It is. But I guess to a point sometimes because it's not for everybody. Do you ever come across people when you coach or just in your life or even in yourself, if you look within and you're like, hey, you know what? Something's been stripped out of this. This isn't actually for me. I don't want to grow. I don't want to do the things that other people say I'm supposed to do. Yeah. Right? How does it look?
I think we got to give ourselves permission to evolve. Just evolve. That's okay. Like, I don't like this anymore. Cool. Then be curious. Like, it's not that big of a deal. We don't be, oh my goodness. No, it's okay. Just try some things. Then stop. Like, just wait. Like, yeah, man, just get curious. If you start, I think we change. Like, I probably won't coach real estate agents the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. There's no actual way I'll do that in the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I got bigger dreams than just that, but I'm busy doing something right now.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what's happening and it's great, but it's like we have to evolve. Mm-hmm. I just believe that we need to change a lot in my life. In our lives, we need to change.
Sure.
Something about changing.
Because people get stuck.
I think so, man. Stagnant water, man. The analogy.
Whoa. Hang on there, Bingo. Don't forget to check out the Highest to Best Use playbook before we get back to the episode. Amazon, Chapter, Barnes & Nobles, all the different places. You can go to thehighesttobestuse.com for direct links, or you can check it out on those websites directly, and you can get it in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. And of course, we talk about the 3 tenets, the core tenets of the highest to best use: land, structure, skill sets, and time. Those will really benefit your business. Now back to the episode. What about complexity? Some people say, it's got to be really complicated. It's got to be the biggest, best thing. Some people go, whoa, keep it simple.
Yeah, you don't need to complicate it. Oh my goodness. For me, that's my story. I complicate things. I overbuild them. Mm-hmm. I leverage everything. And so I'm always trying to strip it back.
Yeah.
Always.
Simple.
I think I give too much and I lower the value. And you give too much, you lower the value, but I want to give so much to blow you away. Because I want to have raving fans.
You're talking about coaching in specific
business,
or
any business, like investors. Like you just have to have this place where, I love change. I love the feeling of fresh change, and I love that. I remember sitting, it was a mastermind group I was with. We were with this guy who had just done a deal. He's an Ireland dude. He did a deal with. He lives in LA. He did a deal with Apple for like 500 movies for whatever he does. Okay, I don't even know. Right. But he sat there. He had his beautiful hot Ferraris and his airplane on a runway. So that's where his office was. And he said every 3 years he changes things very intentionally. He'll renovate his old office.
Really?
He actively, and
because he changes up his perspectives or what?
Yep. Billionaire.
I like that.
Just changes things.
I don't even mean like from the monetary perspective. Yeah. I like the fact that rearrange your bedroom. It's free. I don't know. Something.
Do something. Change something. Like, I think being addicted to change is not good, but I believe that you need to put roots down and figure out how to build some foundations, or else you'll just never, ever, you'll be one of those guys that just never get anywhere. Yeah. I like the idea of change and be evolved, be open to change. Like, I don't do this anymore. Yeah, okay. That's okay. Like,
why do people get stuck in their ways like this?
I don't know. I think,
why are they so against? A lot of people just push back on change. They go, I'm not changing.
What's their brain saying? From the first example. So the brain is trying to protect them from this outcome.
Back to your ice analogy.
Yeah, like something in the past has said it's a danger. How about this? I've made a lot of bad moves in my life and I'm not doing it again. I finally got to the spot. I'm not happy, but I'm definitely not in a bad place. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so in a way it does serve them. Not changing. But they're not happy, they're not fulfilled, or they're maybe they are. And if they don't want to change forever and they're happy genuinely, great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Do you think money plays into that?
Into
change?
In what way?
Well, I mean, people always seem to default back to money, right? Like, obviously money isn't everything. What's the quote? Money's not everything, but it ranks up there with oxygen, right?
I don't know.
Have you heard that?
No?
I have not. Money isn't everything, but it ranks up there with oxygen. Yeah. So like maybe having more money won't make you more happy, but having no money will probably make you unhappy to some degree.
Yeah, for sure. Under the study was like $100,000, under 70 or $100,000, and you need to survive. So you need to make sure you have enough money. That's where you got to be smart. You got to build, and you got to scale, you got to hire, you got to understand business. Like I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with business too. So I'm a weird guy. Personal development and business are just my obsessions.
So let's talk about scaling.
Sure.
Right. How do you see scaling in terms of growth, mindset, perspectives? What does that mean to you, just as an overarching principle?
Okay, so first of all, if you're going to scale, the problem is we get right into tactics. It's a big problem because hire, leverage, raise money, scale with ads versus door-to-door knocking. Like there's all these different ways. Yep. You know, you could raise way more money. You could be, whatever, start a fund, like whatever you want to do. The problem is not the two. Let me just give you you like cars. This is a good one. If you take a race car, okay, the best race car in the world, and you put a bad driver in it, what happens? It
doesn't go.
You're done. You might even kill yourself.
It's a good point.
So if you take a business that's fully scaled and you put a bad driver in it, you're screwed. So why do we grow the drivers? That's what I'm obsessed with, because I know how business is easy. Like, first of all, the biggest advice I'd ever get for anyone that wants to scale, we're talking about the person that's probably like, they're doing okay, right? And there's another level for them, but they haven't really put a corporate company together yet. Right. They're in between solopreneur.
What's it sole proprietor?
Yeah, that's something.
Sure.
Like that. The one-man show with maybe people they work and maybe some people that work for them. But the first thing I do is have an assistant. It's a very, very simple thing. Because what happens is it trains you to think like a business owner. He's trading time for money. Yep. So if you have a bunch of stuff to do, pay someone to do it. And when I coach anybody in this, business owner or real estate agent, you project hire as a very first basic step.
Sure.
Find, say, I'll pay you $200 to do this. Like I had a guy, where was it? I saw a post the other day. He's bragging about his day. He's a real estate agent. Yeah. Yep. I got 2 offers. Got to submit paperwork. I've got to do this. He put a whole bunch of lists, and I'm like, that's about 3 hours worth of time, $60, 3 hours worth of an assistant. And his entire day, he'd have nothing else going on.
Right.
But instead, he's going to buy steak dinner.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing to scale, is understand how to buy time. There's nothing even comes close. Nothing. And then it's the who. You get the A player. Yeah. You pay a little bit more, you get the A player, but you have to learn how to manage weird stuff. To scale, you got to manage. Management sucks, man.
It's a totally different skill set.
Oh, it's brutal for a sales guy. It's like usually just like crush it, get it done. And then someone's like, can you give me the sequences to getting it done, and repeating it 75 times so I can just follow the system? Like, figure it out. Yeah. And that's why businesses fail, because they don't know how to manage. So weird human skills. So if you're looking to scale a business for real, learn the human skills. Look at human skills of management, hiring and firing, payroll, and basic business stuff that people just don't do, and they don't know where in the world's taught.
Sure.
Like, where do you learn this?
Yeah.
You just don't. Like, school definitely doesn't teach you to do that.
You can't get the stuff from a textbook.
No.
You just can't. You can get you can get the principles of it, but the actual implementation is very difficult.
Yeah. And so I think scaling is who. So I think
Have you read Who Not How?
Yeah,
Dan Sullivan?
one of my favorite books.
It's so good, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous book.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, it's simple. And he outsourced that entire writing of that book, by the way. The entire thing was written.
I think that was like the first chapter. He was like, I didn't write this.
I didn't write
Somebody else did, and it's my name.
And
but he built a brand to be able to stamp his name on it.
Well, he sets the vision, finds the best people, and gives the tools and the money to implement it. Yeah. So that's where money does come in.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you have enough sales coming in, and you need to, when you outsource something, you got to go to work though. Like at one point when you're building a business, you got to outsource. Well, as soon as you outsource, you're using money you probably don't have enough to use. So you got to work your ass off to get more money while the outsourcing is happening first.
Yep.
So I see a lot of guys like, got an assistant, got my stuff taken care of, and they're sitting back.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what are you, 60?
Yeah.
You got 10 more years of ridiculous hustle and scale. You got to keep funding this machine. That's what they forget. They're like, yep, sitting on the beach. Yeah, working.
Chilling.
No, man. You think I'm not working?
Yeah.
I'm scaling. So you take as much money as you can and dump it back in, and then you go back and you work. But that's why you got to love what you do.
And I guess you also, too, you have to make the assumption that whatever it is that you're doing is worth more than whatever your outsourcing is, right? Shed some weight on that.
Well, I think logically anyone can figure that out. It's emotionally.
I don't think logically everybody can, though, because there's a lot of people that outsource whatever they don't want to do, whatever they're not good at, the paperwork, whatever, right? They outsource this, and that's fine. But if whatever it is that you're trying to achieve is not worth more than whatever you're outsourcing, you're just trading You're just trading dollars for dollars. So, I mean, like, where is the disproportionate asymmetry there to say, yes, this actually makes sense to continue to grow versus I just hate this and I want it off my plate?
Yeah. So I think I have an entire section when we coach people, it's called setting your compass. That goes back to what do you want? Yeah. Like it comes back to that. But so the math is that you obviously need a viable business. But I can tell you for $100, I can buy 5 hours worth of time. Do you know what if I can guide that person to do 5 hours of work, which will take me 15 minutes, maybe a half an hour to plan, and then maybe a 10-minute conversation. So out of that 5 hours that I'm buying, I'm still working 45 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. We got to forget the people outsource, get it done. Doesn't work.
But you got back your 3 1/4.
That's right. And so then you tell me right now, what business, know what I can do in 5 hours of my time?
Yeah. You're like probably 3 people.
That's right. So that's exactly it. You nailed it. No one's going to replace me. It'll take me 4 or 5 people to replace me because I'm the owner.
Yeah.
I won't even sleep one night. I'll work the whole way. On. If it needs to be done, the owner does it. Yeah. And then he's like, when you hire someone, you need 4 people to replace you. But what you can do is get rid of the low paying stuff. And I know it's cliche, right? But you tell me what business can't make that numbers work for 5 hours of time for $100.
Yeah.
Like $100, 5 hours. Now, $100 a day, like that's Facebook ads. Like it's not even.
Yep.
Like there's so many that's like, or they'll buy this stupid lead gen, but they'll have no converting mechanism, no ISA to screen calls, or they'll pay a huge amount of money for investment shit that's just a big waste of money.
Yeah.
But they won't spend $100 on an assistant so they can actually skill up and scale.
Yeah.
So viability, 5 hours of time for $100 is viable for any single business in the world.
Do you prefer in-person or VAs? What's your preference?
In person.
Yeah. Why?
The hack, I'll give it to you right now. You look for moms that are skilled, that want to raise their kids, but they have more deeper values because they want to raise their kids. They want to, and so what you do is you do from 10 till 2.
Midday, before and after school is free. Yeah.
So now you've saved them $1,000 a month on childcare.
Yep.
You can pay them a hell of a lot less, and they work because of meaning and purpose, and they want to do something good for the business, and they don't care about the money as much as flexibility.
Yep.
And they want to be part of something awesome.
Yeah.
So they give a meaning. So that's the hack. I've done it for my whole life. You should see all the moms work for me.
But you know what? You had an interesting story on your Instagram. Actually, I wrote it down. We're going to get into it later, but we're getting into it now.
Let's go.
So you had, and I saw this one maybe, I'm going to say a month, 2 months ago, and you came out and you're sitting there. It's like fireside chat type of thing. And people are all around you, right? And you're like, so I had this mom, and she reached out to me, and she was a realtor and wanted to be a realtor. And she says, you know what? I want to do, I think the number was 400,000, but I could be wrong. I want to do 400,000 in sales, gross commissions this year. And I want to do 400,000. I want to do like 100 deals, and I want to do all these things. And she's just like scaling up and just going for it. Like you're getting right into the story. And then you started talking to her. And then you asked her and you said, what is it that you really want? Let's peel back the onion and a little more and a little more. By the time you're done, you realized A, she didn't want to be a realtor at all.
Crazy.
And B, she was like, I just want to be a mom. I actually don't want to do deals.
Messed up, right? That's what I mean by going after a life that you don't even want.
That's completely,
There's another story just happened.
Chime in.
Same thing. Guys doing 500 transactions a year in real estate. 30 people on his team.
Yeah.
Good heart, hey? Good heart, but dry. Like it reminded me of me 20 years ago, where you're just killer sales guy, driven beyond driven, and more the merrier. And he talked to me about coaching, and I said, to be honest with you, I don't think I can coach you. I said, because you talked about wanting to go up to 750 transactions. And I said, if you're not happy at 500 transactions, I will not help you get to 750, which is probably not normally used to hearing a coach, because that's a big fish.
Yeah.
Good for the business.
Yeah.
Look who we're coaching.
Yeah. This guy's amazing. Great.
Right. And everyone's like, yo, he's coaching with Ben. No, like, and it's like, so I said, I think you need to come to my personal growth retreat because, and I asked a little bit more, 10-month-old baby, a wife. And I said, what do you really want? He goes, I don't even know if I want a team anymore. I'm like, but you're going to pay me a great amount of money to help you grow again. Yeah. And I said, so I'm not coaching him.
Yeah.
And, but has sent me a message. He goes, you've messed with my head.
Yeah.
And so
in a positive or negative?
Not sure.
Really?
Like, I think it's positive. He's very intrigued by, I'm a different dude. Yeah. Because I'm like genuinely looking out for him. I'm sorry, not ready. When you're ready, because I know it's exciting when you're talking to me. Yeah. But when I leave, and the movie's over, and that the charisma's gone, and you're sitting back there, you're going back to deals.
Wow.
And so I feel like there's needs some personal growth there before, and I think what he really wants is a very simple life.
That's so different than 500 deals.
Up to 750. Like if you're 500 deals, like it's like when I wanted 1,000 properties. Like it's just so weird. It's like, I want 1,000. What do you want? I just want to be loved by my wife. It's like, it's just, I think it's our nation, it's the big picture of mastery, like we talked about. It's just the pressure of being number one, of like, it's the lack of significance in our life from just being Ben. Yeah. It's just not. When I sat on the step with or the whatever the boot rack we were sitting on, and my wife is like, I didn't understand. She's like, I only want you. I don't want all this stuff. And to be honest, I was completely confused. Why the hell would you just want me? Looking back at it, I'm like, I see it differently now, but that's what I was saying. Why do you want me? That means I'm not enough. And so when I'm not enough, I'm doing a whole hell of a lot of things. And so it's something I pay attention to even to this day, in over delivering, giving so much. And it's actually works backwards because it lowers your value. Sure. And I still want to give. Because it's a good heart, but is it? So I try to, I think I'm about 8 out of 10 for fulfillment. And the other 20% comes from community affirmations and stuff. But a lot of people have that flipped. Yep. They start with the 20% full of self-fulfillment, and they need 80% filled. So now you're a taker in most relationships. Right. And so if I can start
I never thought about it like that. 80-20 in the sense that if you don't have the majority of it, you're always take. Whereas if you do have the majority of it.
I need you to fill me. So I'm going to do whatever I can to get that. So which will be either giving you lots of praise, so you'll thank me, paying for meals. Or I'm going to manipulate you and control you to give me the emotional thing I need.
It's deep.
Buy flowers, take her out on dates. Yep. All selfish. 100%, because I need her to love me.
Or you fall apart.
Because I'm not full. I need her to fill me up. Just tell me I'm beautiful again. Like I need to be 8 out of 10 fulfilled, because that means this. Right.
And that only comes from within, is what you're saying.
It comes from, yes, 100%. It comes from.
Yes, there's external factors, but
self-acceptance generally is the key. Which is weird, because it's like, I'm not going to settle. I'm not talking settle. Yeah. I'm going to win the game. I'm ambitious beyond ambitious, but I feel
But you're winning satisfied. But you're winning it for you. You're not winning it for.
I feel like I've already won. Yeah. Now it's playtime, and it's a challenge. It's stimulation.
When do people make that distinction? You probably see it in coaching, but like when do people go, you know what? Clearly, I have decided I am better today than I was yesterday. When do people make that distinction, and what happens when they do?
Well, usually I don't let them into our program until they're at that point. We don't coach them. Yeah. It's a waste of time. And they're like, well, because all they focus on is sales. We would need someone to figure out the sales, then come to us. We'll help you turn it into a business that pays for a beautiful life you love. That's who we want to work with. That's our ultimate program. We have another program called Rocket Fuel it's the Grinders program, but focused on mindset and confidence. But ultimately they show up, and we want to find the guys that are ready at the place going, I'm working all the time. I thought I was going to get freedom. Investment, man, that's who we're talking to. Holy shit. There's never going to be a number that ever satisfies anybody in real estate investing. Yeah. I want passive income. And I get it. No such thing, by the way, but I get it. It's not passive. Nothing's passive, but nothing will satisfy us. I think if we can focus on figuring out how to be satisfied internally while we are ambitious, why not?
That's a good combination.
Not one or the other.
Satisfied internally and be ambitious.
See, the other side is being satisfied internally and being a bum on the street happy. I'm not into that either. Sure. Like being a surfer on the side of like I live in a van. Yeah,
beach bum.
But you literally don't have anything. So how long can you surf until you need to so why not why not build wealth and do these things? Yeah. But you can, if you do one or the other. I don't like either story.
Good point.
I want to build as big as and best as I possibly can. Highest and best use.
Music to my ears.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm sure for the surfer beach bum type, they would probably look at your life, my life, anybody else's life, really, anybody business minded, and say, I don't want what you have either.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. So I think about some of these guys. Which is perspective. I've got some pretty high net worth friends, and I'm starting to see them become farmers.
Yes. Continue.
Right?
Yes.
I'm just seeing them all become farmers. It's funny. I also think that it's probably a slight conspiracy of the world's coming in and trying to farm the land. But they just want to farm.
Have you seen this Jeremy Clarkson show? He was the guy on Top Gear. He's a British host.
Oh, yeah.
He's got lots of cars and lots
Is
of
he
money.
farming now?
He's got a place in the Cotswolds in England, and he's farming hundreds and hundreds of acres.
People don't want stress.
Yeah.
But they think that getting a lot of money will eliminate stress, and it doesn't.
Why do you think that is?
Because stress is in the mind.
Does money buy happiness?
Yeah, I think that I'm okay with stress. Our relationship to it needs to change because I'm stressed lots of times, but it's stress of like jumping off a bridge on a bungee cord. That's stress, but stress where you're not aligned is not. It's like I think there's good stress, bad stress. Like there's that pressure of succeed and stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the stress where I'm not connecting to my kid, I don't like that stress. Stress of like, stuff. But anyways, yeah.
When do people decide truly if enough is enough? Like I have enough money, or I have enough physical possessions, or I have enough love, or I have enough self-worth that I can go off and do whatever it is that I want. Like when do people decide?
That is impossible. What you just described, it's not real. Because I'm broken. I got problems. I'm self-accepting. I don't know. I'm never gonna. Dude. I don't know. Like, yeah.
So even within yourself, we'll talk about your clients in a minute. But even within yourself, there's never a point where you could say,
I feel like I've won the game and I'm enough right now.
Okay.
But that's because I'm broken and I accept it. I'm not where I want to be and I'm okay with that. If it does today, I'm good. Like that, it's how I believe. It's not mindset, it's belief.
Okay.
Like, dude, if I died today, fucking what a life. Like, fuck, I crushed.
Yeah.
Oh, man, my kids, I changed the generational patterns. My kids are healthy with me. My wife and I are good. We moved to fucking West Vancouver in one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in the world, looking at the ocean every day. I get to sit here, dude, not worry about it, come and do a podcast with you, and I get paid to go speaking, and I wrote books. Like, fuck, what else? What else?
Right.
What else? Like, so I think, plus, dude, still yell at my kid once in a while. I'm like, fuck, and still eat that extra food and feel a little fat sometimes. And, some days I'm sad. Sometimes I'm depressed. Some days I'm angry. And some days I just want to change it all and self-sabotage every fucking thing I have. And then I offer too much. And then I start something and I quit something. I got lots of reasons why I'm fucked up. But I'm ready. I've won the game, dude. I realize that it's how it's going to always be.
How do you parlay that to a client?
It depends on who. When you're talking about business, it's who's your avatar and how do you speak to them? Who is it? You know what I mean? Like, if I first of all say, what do you want? And they don't know. We break it down. What's important to you? Figure out what makes them happy and start chipping away. That's our whole model in my world. Let's chip away at 1%. 1% better. We never, ever celebrate big wins. It's 1% we celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm 1%, man.
Have you read Gary Keller's book, The One Thing?
No.
He's a realtor, Keller Williams.
Yeah. He started a little business.
Yeah. And he's kind of the same thing. I mean, different perspective, different scale.
Sure.
But generally, he's saying, like, just do the one thing. What is the one thing that makes you the most happy? What is the one thing that makes you the most money? What is the one thing that makes you the most effective? What is the one thing that makes you the best family man?
He's obviously focused on execution and getting his shit done. One thing is easy to do a lot of times. Sure. It's no, you're psychologically, you're not overwhelmed. But we got to understand that 1% is like if we moved 1% a day, that's 365% growth.
True.
We forget about that. It's compound interest. It's like when you piss away all your money.
It's compounded.
It is. It's all compound, right? Like it's all the same. It's investing, but we don't look at it as investment. 1% forward is how many times? Yeah. But we just think, it's not worth it. Like putting $100 away a month into a fund. It's boring. It's gross. But we don't do it. We don't realize what we're losing. So
we were talking about what's sexy in the market before the show. Right?
Oh yeah,
it's not sexy to save money. That's not sexy. Nobody thinks that's cool, but sometimes it's practical. Sometimes it's not. Like it depends on where you're at, right? Yeah, what you want, and for sure. Yeah, 100% leverage, and I did that when I started. I leveraged everything. I thought it was awesome until it wasn't. So let's talk about picking your direction. So in terms of, why don't we give this like a real world case study, like real world scenario. So let's just say you have a client that comes to you and says, okay, Ben, I have a small business, right? I'm self-employed solopreneur. I make $100,000 a year, right? Income. And I have $1 million of cash in the bank. Okay. I could continue working, right? And make my 100,000, or I could take my $1 million and invest it at, let's just say 10% because it's a round number, and make 100,000 passive that way. Yep. How would you advise them to choose a direction and why? I'm like, I wish I could be like, this is the secret, dude. Yeah. This is my answer. But dude, it's all what you want, man.
It's what you want. Do you want to just cash in and live in freaking Bali? Do it and try it out. Do you want to, we make all our decisions on our ROI. That's one piece of the pie ingredients.
Yeah.
That's the cherry. That's a good part of the ingredients, but there's other ingredients. So if you can get clear, so like, I don't know, man. For me, I'd invest into business.
You'd invest in the business.
I can make a ton of money with money.
Sure.
Like way more than real estate sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I think the long game's amazing in real estate, but if that's just me because that fits me.
Right.
I'll hire people.
So you'd take the $1 million and you'd grow the 100K, the guy's income, whatever.
I would do.
That's what you would do.
I would grow something into something.
Interesting.
Yeah. Why not?
Interesting.
It's like, think about the value of a business. Like, you can still have a 3 to 10x on a sale if you wanted. You could, it's still an equity game, right? So it depends. I got a portfolio of real estate, right? So would I don't know, what makes me want it? What gets me jazzed? I don't know. I'd have to look at where we're at, but I like the idea of growing something. Like, you know what you can do with a $100,000 investment into marketing or growth or personnel? I love hiring. That you get the right guy on your team, it's game over. Yeah. Game over. Because they'll just take it to the next level for cheap. $100,000, you can get a half decent employee that can do something. So I'm in that world right now. I'm in a scale business world. So that's where my head goes. Maybe in 10 or 15 years, I probably don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe I might teach my kids investing, and if everyone gets an Airbnb and they got to manage it if they freaking want to. I'll tell you a story.
Please.
Thinking about buying your kids stuff. That's going to be a topic that these guys that listen to your show are like legacy and every one of my kids is going to have a property. I'm going to buy one for my parents. I'm going to pay off their house. Same shit I hear every time. Sure. Okay. This lady out of Toronto actually was looking at coaching a few years ago, and she jumps on a call with me. And I don't do a sales call. I do a fit call. Like some people are like, what are you trying to sell me? I'm like, no, I'm trying to see if you fit. Like legitimately, like if some people come on because they've been sold such crappy used car salesman shit on coaching. And I'm like, dude, like you literally are on this call. I'm just seeing if you're fit. Yeah. It's a fit call. It's not a sales call. So I was like, hey, let me ask you some questions. So this lady's doing really well, right? She's making, I don't know, 300, 400 grand a year. And she's looking to put in systems and build a business. And I said, cool, what do you want? I want to give my kids the life I never had. Okay, brown lady, immigrant lady. And she's like, I want to give the kids. Totally cool, right? Yeah. Totally cool. I said, cool, awesome. What does that mean? Oh, they all need a house. Okay. And she listed off these things. I said, okay, great, awesome. Have you asked them what they wanted? She's just completely dead in her tracks.
Really?
It's the same thing I was doing, dude. I was giving my wife and kids the life that they could dream of.
Yeah.
They didn't want it. I'm like, let me help you. And she got stomped. And she was like, we had a chat and she was like, speechless. She was going through this major breakthrough moment. Never did coach with me.
Yeah.
Never coached with me.
That was probably the best advice she's ever received, paid or otherwise.
It was hard for her because she's on this blind track to do this she's doing it for herself, Ryan. It wasn't for her kids. And I called her out in a very motivated to help her way. And she was not a fit because I don't think she's ready to let go of her own vision to give her kids something, because then she can sleep at night that she did good with her kids. Didn't care what her kids thought. But
I mean, as a parent, like, how do you know your kids know what they want later in life? If she says, I want to get my kids a house, kids don't even know what a mortgage is, right? Yeah. Well, I don't know how to look like the kids were, whatever, right? So at what point do you say, okay, kids,
you have to start when they're young and have honest conversations with them all the way through. We talk about everything, dude. My kids know everything. Yeah. They do whatever they want. That's how I raise them. And they're good kids, man. One kid, like they're great kids. I think we are way too hard on kids. Like, oh, we're going to teach them a lesson. What the fuck? You teaching them the hard way? Oh, got to learn it. No, the world's going to kick your fucking ass. You can I just let them do whatever they want and trust that I'm going to show them, and then we're going to have honest conversations along the way and test, try, break, fix, man. So if they don't know what they want, that's okay. I'm giving them an example of how to figure that out with my life. They're not going to listen to me. They're going to watch me. So it's a little bit different than just be like, how do you know what they don't want? Well, they don't. Neither do I at some level. But is it my job to buy a property for every single one of them? And what if they literally don't want that? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. What if they don't want it? If they do want it, well, then show them how to do it.
I bumped into a guy the other day. Lots of money. Money's not the issue. Successful career, the whole bit. Couple kids, right? Kids could have anything they wanted. And the father says, I'm going to buy each of you a condo. One kid was like, great, thanks, appreciate it. The other kid was like, I just want to play video games and rent. He literally turned down a free condo. I thought, at first, my intuition said, come on, that's crazy. But then after after the conversation was done and the dust settled, whatever, I thought, good for him for knowing what he wants and what he doesn't. Because the condo would have made him miserable, even though he didn't have to pay the condo fees, whatever. Set for life. Groovy. Great. Done.
Yeah. Or he had no connection with his dad.
Or that. And every time you put the key in the lock, it's a smack in the face.
And it's a F you. I don't want nothing from you. All I wanted you to do was fucking play video games with me.
Yeah.
And you want to buy me a fucking house.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play games with you.
Yeah.
And if he had a connection, he'd take the house. Mm-hmm. Because he'd know that's really important. But he's at the place. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I guess because the relationship is about the parent trying to teach them provision, ROI. They just need connection. Dude, I'm the biggest guilty of that. That's why I know that deeply. Yeah. Deeply. They don't need nothing. I mean, I take my kid to hockey. I pay for such high-end stuff. He's going to make academy $30,000 a year for private schooling in hockey. Same one as Connor Bedard. Mm-hmm. Like the coolest thing ever. It's not enough, dude. Mm-hmm. Like literally, that's the one relationship I struggle with. I give him everything. Mm-hmm. But we have this battle. We're pretty good, okay? That's not like yelling and screaming, but he's the one kid that's like, he just wants me to play fucking basketball again. Yeah. Watch him take some shots in the yard. I'm like, no, $30,000 private school, get you into his Conrad. I'm going to get you private training, all this. I'm going to help you out. And there's this. He's thankful, but he doesn't want it. It's a really interesting thing. That's why when you're building a portfolio or investments or anything, we got to get that shit fixed. Mm-hmm. Fixed. Then all the other stuff.
Do you think
matters.
the money is somewhat of a vehicle in this circumstance? I mean, if you can have a business where you can afford to do these, and
that's why I'm ambitious. I look at my book.
Yeah,
it's how to build a 7-figure business without sacrificing your relationships.
Yeah,
that's the ingredients.
Yeah.
Like you think about this. Like even if you have investors. Like if you can't sacrifice those relationships. If you have a wife, don't sacrifice those relationships. Mm-hmm. If you have clients, don't sacrifice. Like we build, but we sacrifice. We don't actually do the relationship stuff.
Yeah.
Which is everything. Which is everything.
It's the key.
Everything. Yeah. And so, anyways, that's where. Yeah.
Talk of the book.
Yeah, Rich Real Estate Agent. When I talked to the publisher, I was literally going to bang out a real estate book, a how-to, and then I gave them my manuscript. And they're like, Ben, we got a problem. And they're like, either you got to do a human development, personal growth book, or you got to do a real estate book, or we can try our best to feather it together. Yeah. So we had some meetings. They scrapped the first one, and and I got a ghostwriter, so it's a scribe.
Yep.
I met with them every day for how long, and so here's the chapters: 7-figure mindset, setting your compass, relationship with fear. Hustler versus business owner, how to hire, and how to keep your clients for life. Mm-hmm. So we actually, this is the first, by the way, richest real estate agent could be richest business owner, richest investor. This is crossing over on everything. Yep. It's just that I niched out so I could,
so it makes sense.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's for everyone. It doesn't work. Yeah. So it's got stories of like, man, emotional intelligence, but tactical hiring strategies, how to blow your client's mind so they stay with you for life, how to emotionally connect with them, how to hire, how to build actual business systems. But it's just this cool emotional intelligence, personal growth book with tons of amazing business strategies in it.
I like that it crosses over because not every book can do that.
That they were like, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Because it's a real estate agent targeted book, but it's an emotional intelligence book. Like it's almost like you had to, but what we realized, dude, is that I think COVID helped a lot because COVID really shined the light on everyone's crap. Right? All of a sudden your relationship sucks at home. Yeah. Because you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
All of a sudden your relationship where you're busy golfing every day because you can't take being at home.
Yeah.
You're busy going out all the time with the boys because you hate yourself. And like all of these things, you gained a little bit of weight. Now the self-image got crushed. And so real estate and in brokers, all of a sudden, like I've been asked more in the last 2 years ago, I heard you're a mindset guy. All of a sudden they're interested. Usually it's, hey, are you a sales coach? Like they're a dime a dozen sales coaches. But they're like, we need some mindset work in our brokerage.
What's the metric for mindset? Because I find there's a lot of people that push back on mindset. They go, mindset's wishy-washy, it's soft.
Mindset is a bullshit word. And I use it because it's what people understand.
I prefer perspective.
It's emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
It's understanding your feelings and how to think about those. It's how to, that mindset, like David Goggins mindset, ignore it and keep going. That's bullshit. It's 1 in a million.
Yeah.
That's just pure stubborn commitment. And it's motivating. And don't get me wrong, it's cool. But what we're talking about, mindset, is like, perspective is 100% the word for sure. For sure. But from a marketing and a communication word, I got to find a word that we can kind of land on as a community or as a human race. Mindset. Yeah. Because no one knows what emotional intelligence is way too deep and complicated for people. Yeah. How you feel. Yeah. How you feel is more important than how you think. But I say mindset because it's the word of the day.
Yeah. This has been fun. I think your perspectives on not just real estate as an industry, but business and intuitively knowing who you are, I think has been extremely enlightening over here for me. It's cool to see your passion and the tenacity for the industry. It's great that you were able to put it into text so that other people can share that. And I do encourage people to follow you on Instagram and social media because your stuff is fantastic. So
thanks, man.
From this side of the mic, from me to you, thank you for being here.
Yeah, my privilege, man.
Where can people find out more about you?
BenOosterveld.com is a great place. Ben Oosterveld Instagram. Facebook group is The Richest Real Estate Agent. And yeah, they find me, they can find me.
Love it.
So on my website, if it is a real estate agent, we can do a business assessment for free. Have to qualify for that though. It's not everybody gets that. So there's a quick 10-minute quick call. Yep. And then we can take a look, deep dive into their businesses, find out where it's working and where they need to change their focus, get some clarity.
Very cool. Is that call with you specifically or somebody else?
Many times it is. Yep. Many times it is. The first call is not with me. That's with my team who know how to really dig into what's working, what's not working. In literally 10 to 15 minutes, we can know very clearly of what's going on. And then to qualify for a 45-minute assessment. And you sit down with me. Nice. And we'll dig into client acquisition, business systems, client experience, and personal mindset and growth.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for tuning into the Highest and Best Use Real Estate Podcast. Don't forget to check out the book at thehighestandbestuse.com. I'm your host, Ryan Carr, reminding you that good deals are found, great deals are created. Like, share, follow, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode.